Welcome to the BamCam with Jack Burnette and Alison Castellano from RFG Advisory. In this podcast, we explore how life and financial well-being are intertwined. We'll look into areas concerning motivation and attitude, financial planning, investing, and much more. Our goal is to empower you with the information and resources you need to help manage your money and strive towards the life you've always wanted. So sit back, relax, and join us on this journey of uncovering your true self and achieving financial independence.
Welcome to the BamCam podcast with your hosts, Jack Burnette and Alison Castellano. I'm Wendy McConnell. Hello and welcome to the two of you.
Good morning, Wendy.
Hi. How's everybody feeling today?
Very good. Excited.
Yeah, we're excited.
Oh, good. Me too. So I have to get this out of the way. I have to ask, what's up with the BamCam? Come on, tell us. What's that about?
When we first started thinking about a podcast in a general sense, one of my friends that I mentioned this to, a fellow advisor, said, "Oh, Burnette Asset Management, Castellano Asset Management, that's the BamCam." And it just resonated. It stuck. And I thought, wow, that's kind of catchy. It's a little different. And, we're in the asset management business. And so there we go.
I love it. I think it sounds awesome. So let's start with Alison. Alison, how did you make this decision to get into this industry?
Okay, so I was a teacher for 10 years. I've taught high school French and math and some middle school math there towards the end of those 10 years. And what I loved about teaching was working with students, watching them learn and grow during their time with me. So when it came time to look at a career change, I knew I wanted to do something where I could still work with people and still be the educator that I truly am inside. So I could help people learn and grow. So I'm still doing that as a financial advisor. I'm still that inner educator.
How about you, Jack?
To how I came into this business?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me back up a little bit. One thing about Alison coming into this business, if I could add this, I had a succession plan already in place. But when Alison was looking at career changes, she was exploring everything outside of education and not including this business as a financial advisor. And it just dawned on me one day that maybe she might be interested in doing this, and which could also then change ultimately, not that I want to retire anytime soon, that she could be part of my succession plan. So I actually talked to my wife about that first to see what she thought before I ever mentioned it to Alison.
Daughter.
Yes.
Alison is my daughter.
Yeah. So
yes.
I don't know if we made that apparent, but yes, you guys are related.
We are and have been for Alison's entire life. So anyway, it dawned on me that maybe this would be a good place for her to take her career to the next level. This was a second career for me as well. I began my career as a CPA. And after several years in public accounting with a large firm, I realized that what I enjoyed in school, I did not like as much in as a vocation. So I explored other opportunities and found myself getting into healthcare sales, first in pharmaceutical sales, and then secondly into hospital equipment sales. That ultimately led me into a corporate development role using some of my accounting and financial background into working on acquisition deals in healthcare, structuring, I would say small scale merger and acquisition activity, but working on deals that ranged anywhere from like $10 to $150 million size deals. And I was a road warrior. I traveled all over the country. Alison was young in those days. This was mostly in the 90s. And I was spending 100 to 150 nights away from home per year. We were in a 2-career household. That was challenging for my wife. It was hard on my kids. And it was a hard life for me, but I loved it. So I decided I wanted to change careers in my 40s. And so a little over 20 years ago, somebody suggested that I become a stockbroker, and which is what people like us were called back then, kind of old fashioned now. But I explored that and ultimately went to work for Merrill Lynch at that point, which brought me into this industry.
Yeah, when you say stockbroker, it just, it makes me think of Michael Douglas on Wall Street and yelling with the paper and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So did you ever get to do that? Yelling with the paper?
No. No.
I want to do that. It sounds like so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but no. But that was a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. So who is it that you work with? Like, do you have what you would call a specialty?
Well, initially when I got into the business, I worked with, because my wife was a pharmaceutical representative, I had a niche that was working with a lot of pharmaceutical representatives, people I already knew. I came into this business with a list of contacts and somewhat of the old time term would be a Rolodex that I came into this business with. So I worked with people I knew, and a lot of them were pharmaceutical representatives. And so I had a niche there, and probably today, a third or maybe close to half of my book of business has some ties back to that industry. However, the world is changing a little bit. And with Alison coming on board, there's some opportunities to work with younger generation of clients. And Alison, do you want to talk a little bit about what we're doing?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're going to launch in our practice is a subscription model. And I really want to work with individuals and young families who are still working and trying to save and build wealth for their futures, hoping that that subscription model will pull them in. They don't really have assets yet to manage, but want to accumulate those assets. That's what we're working on.
Yeah, to elaborate on that a little bit, studies have shown, and there's a lot of studies that are being done here on the differences between different generations. Most advisors out there today work with gathering assets to manage, and that's how they've built their business. And I'm no different in what I have done historically. However, that is mostly working with people in the greatest generation or baby boomers, because that's where the concentration of wealth is today. However, there's going to be a huge wealth transfer over the next 20 years or so. A lot of studies are indicating that Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z, those people want to have a roadmap. They want to have guidance. They want to have somebody helping them make wise financial decisions, but they don't control a great portion of the wealth today. So these people also have, the studies indicate that they are interested in paying for financial advice. Well, historically in this industry, someone asks you to manage their money, and then we give you the advice for free as part of managing that money. We're going to look at doing this and having a part of our practice that Alison is going to be in charge of, focusing on younger people that want to have guidance and hand-holding and want to pay for that for about the price of a Starbucks a day.
So the difference then is between the subscription and how it's been traditionally is it's more ongoing?
Well, perhaps
Yeah.
that, but you don't have any kind of disqualification based on how much or how little you have under to invest.
There are some advisors out there that refuse to work with anyone that has less than $500,000 to invest
Or more. I got something in the mail.
Yeah.
I got something in the mail Friday from Vanguard, of all places, and it was for their advisory services. And it said, if you have $5 million or more to invest, please contact Vanguard. I was blown away.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that's a big deterrent for a lot of people that they won't be able to take advantage of the services because of, like you said, they might not have $500,000 or $5 million.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it that you do for your clients?
We sit down and find out what's important to them. We want to know what their goals and objectives are, but we also want to know what their fears are. So everything, we try to understand where they are, what they would like to accomplish with their life. And then we customize a plan that can be as simple as, 1 or 2 or 3 goals at a time, or it could be a more comprehensive plan. And it's their choice how much they want to have. But we will then, hold their hand along the way with the customized approach.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your team. Who's on the team? What do they do? Give me all the details.
Well, on our team, you're looking at the 2 financial advisors on the team. So I've been in the business a little bit over 20 years. As I mentioned earlier, that this is a second career for me. It's also a second career for Alison, but I am a CFP. Of course, I began my career as a CPA, which kind of proves that I can add and subtract. But I am a certified financial planner. I picked up an MBA along the way before I got into this business. And I'm going to let Alison tell you a little bit about herself in a minute, but I'm going to also tell you about our assistant, Katie Hammock. A little shout out to Katie, who is extremely valuable. She has been with me for almost 20 years as well. So since she got out of college, she is quite valuable also. And then Alison, tell you a little bit about your background.
So like Dad said, I am new. This is my second career, but I have a background. I studied French literature in college, and then I got a master's in education and a master's in educational leadership. Since I'm not in education anymore, I have continued to study and take my SIE, Series 7, Series 66 exam, and I will start working on my CFP soon.
Awesome. So I'm wondering, can you say have a lovely day in French for me?
Passe une bonne journée.
Oh, so love it. All right. Let's talk about new clients. How do you go about getting new clients?
The bulk of our business in the last 5 or 10 years has come from word of mouth, natural markets, people that we socialize with, meet and greet, and so forth. So because I really like to work with people I like more than anything else. That's the biggest qualification to work with us historically has been, do we like one another, and you're not a jerk. And so therefore, if I can be of help to you, maybe we can work together. I've never really liked the idea of being exclusionary and saying you have to have X number of assets to work with us. But with our new business model that we're launching as part of our practice, it opens the world to who, Alison?
Anyone and everyone, as long as they want some hand-holding, navigating financial complexities, we will work with them. I, having a background in education, really want to work with teachers. That's a group of people that I feel like have been left out of financial services really for a long time. And I think they have some complexities of their own that they would need help navigating.
And particularly here in Alabama, I think most teachers really have no real good idea of how their retirement system works. Correct. And what it provides for them and doesn't. And so they spend 25 or 30 years in the classroom, and then they get ready to retire, and then they find out what they have and don't have. Mm-hmm. That's not the way to do it.
No, you spend 25 years keeping your fingers crossed, right?
Yes. Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your business or investment philosophy.
On investment philosophy, I'm of the belief that every client's strategies and goals, you have two things. We have goals that we're trying to achieve with our investments. We also have a tolerance for risk and how, when we have market volatility, for instance, we recently have had probably the most significant bear market since the Great Recession of 2008. And so everyone's tolerance for risk is different. So we customize our investment approach for each client to try to achieve the goals that they need to make their investments work to their advantage and achieve what they want, and B, within their ability to sleep well at night. So that's kind of in a nutshell, our investment philosophy. We do have some sub issues that I am a believer that we have principles in our life. And there's certain things that are important. And so, for example, I'll just throw it out here. I'm a nearly 26-year sobriety recovering alcoholic.
Congratulations.
And so thank you. It's interesting to me. And if you just take note of this, I'm not a prude about drinking or whatever. It was not good for me. But I don't necessarily think that everybody should not drink. But the alcohol industry profits off of people that have problems. About 80% of alcohol consumption is from the top 2 deciles of adults that drink. And if you look at advertisements for alcohol on television, it makes drinking look very sexy, attractive, fun, and that their profit margins are coming from the people where it's not sexy, attractive, or fun,
right,
but they're trying to keep them doing that. That I understand, I get it. And if I were managing one of those companies, which I would never do, but if I were, that's what I would do as well. A lot of the funds I invest in avoid alcohol companies, and so have some principles about doing that. So I'm of the belief that there's ways to invest that make the world a better place rather than exploiting vulnerable people. So I personally, in my own household, will not invest in funds that invest in alcohol or tobacco companies. Not that people don't have the freedom to do that, but I believe that there's other places that your investment dollars can go that can make the world a better place.
Just looking for the right fit for you.
And that's for me.
Yeah.
I ask my clients or our clients if that's important to them when they come on board with us, because I will invest. Our job is to help the client invest their money. They're not giving me their money to invest for them necessarily. So I think it's important from that standpoint to apply those principles.
Yeah, I like it. So let's get out of the office. Let's talk a little fun. What do you do for fun when you're not working? How about you, Alison?
So I'm a new mom. I've got a little 9-month-old at home little girl.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we are enjoying spending time as a new family and getting to explore the world with her. She's definitely got a sense of curiosity. She's like a little engineer right now and just wants to explore and wants to be wherever she's not currently.
Oh.
So she is keeping us on our toes.
All right. How about you, Jack?
Well, and I remember when Alison was 9 months old, and there's no such thing as more than all of your time. So as new parents, that is very consuming to them. We are blessed that Alison and her husband, Adrian, and our new first granddaughter, Laura, live literally about 8 or 10 minutes away from us. So we are blessed to be able to see our granddaughter probably almost every day for a little bit. And my wife and I have waited a long time to be grandparents. So we are having a ball with that. But it's also things that are important to us. I believe, being in my 60s, it's important to take advantage of fitness opportunities to keep healthy and keep moving. So my wife and I are also involved in the fitness community. We're involved with a local gym, and Allison and Adrian are as well. Shout out to Iron Tribe Fitness in Homewood, Alabama, where my wife and I have been there 12 years, and you've been there 11.
I've been there for 11 years, and Adrian's been there for
since y'all got
4
married.
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's very important. And then the other thing that we like to do, my wife and I like to do, is travel. She retired after 38 years in the pharmaceutical industry, and she retired 5 years ago. And so we travel. We've decided we will have 20 years or so, 25 years to see the world. And we're trying to take the world up on that. So we travel usually 2 or 3 trips or maybe more a year.
Good for you. What's some of the amazing places that you've visited?
We just got back a few weeks ago from Italy, Malta, Greece, and Turkey. And it was most of it was a cruise, but probably the most fascinating thing we saw was in Turkey, going to an ancient city called Ephesus, which has a fair amount of biblical history to it. And both John and Paul spent a great deal of time after the crucifixion of Christ there, but it was an amazing city of about 250,000 people at the time of Christ.
Okay.
And the ruins there are unbelievable in just their magnificence, but just how much have been preserved. It's just amazing.
It does. It sounds amazing. Next time you go on one of those trips, let me know. I'm going to hide in your suitcase.
Okay. Well, next month we're going to South Africa on safari. So.
Oh, I've heard so many amazing things about that. You're going to need lots of room in your phone for pictures.
Yes.
Okay, so if you had all of the money in the world, what would you do?
I want to travel like my parents travel.
Right.
So I would not
spending their inheritance, actually.
Yeah. I would not live rather extravagantly. I would still live how I live now, but I would travel more often. When my husband and I got married, we said we wanted to show our children the world. So that's a goal of ours. And hopefully one day we'll be able to make that happen.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And I've always said that if I won one of like the Mega Million lottery or Powerball or something like that, the most fun aspect of that, I don't think it would change my life a great deal, because I live rather, I love my life. I think I'm very happy and satisfied with my life. As a matter of fact, my wife and I just celebrated yesterday our 40th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So that was, I'm very content. However, I think the fun thing with that would be to see how I could structure things to give away a lot of that money in a way that would truly be impactful to making other people's lives better. Would I do a few indulgences? I don't know, probably, but I don't think that it would be extravagant, and I wouldn't have a fleet of cars and that sort of thing. I think it would be fun to see what kind of impact you can make in the lives of others.
Okay. Tell me one thing that you recommend most to clients, family, and friends.
You've heard this from me all your life.
Yeah. To live within your means.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
I know.
No.
It's quite a simple concept, but it's so important because I have tried to work with folks before that have dug themselves into hole with debt. And that is it's first of all, it creates a great deal of anxiety, and it is self-destructive in so many ways. And so if you can live within your means along the way, I think it allows you to, and you may look at others and say, well, how are they doing this? How are they doing that? It doesn't matter.
So one final question that I have is, can you tell us one thing that most people don't know about you, Alison?
I met with a wedding planner and selected a venue before my husband even proposed.
Oh, but you were dating him.
We were dating. And we were on vacation, and I wanted a destination wedding. And he said on our little date night before he had to fly back to come back to work, he said, yeah, we could get married here or on a beach near Tampa, which is where he grew up. And I'm not a beach girl. I'm a mountain girl. And so we put him on a plane to come back to work, and we went and met with a wedding planner and booked a venue.
We were on a ski trip at the time. So
did he know about this before the proposal?
I don't remember.
But after we got engaged, I did say, oh, we've got a venue.
Actually, Alison had dreamed of getting married there before there was even Adrian in the picture. True. Before she ever met Adrian.
A lot of women have that.
Yes.
So yeah. I think going back to probably when you were a teenager, you said, this is where I want to get married.
Yeah. So yeah.
So it was fun.
Jumped the gun a little bit, but
a little bit. Out. Yeah, apparently. So Jack, what about you?
I'd say probably the thing that most people, that interact with me on a day-to-day basis don't know is probably about my recovery with alcohol, with almost 26 years of sobriety. It's proven to be very successful with most of my clients do know, because it's amazing to me how many families are affected by drug and alcohol, and the fact that they can talk with me about my experiences and how they may be dealing with a child or I haven't had too much with a spouse, but I've had where clients talk about their parents or siblings or children that have struggled with this, and it's a tough journey for that. So probably my recovery journey.
It's been very fascinating and interesting to get to know the two of you, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Wendy.
And how can people get in touch with you?
They can reach Alison at
my cell phone number, 205-504-9868.
Or mine is 205-613-4994. And our office number is 205-510-9072.
Do you have a website that people can visit?
Off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. So on our next episode, Wendy, you can ask us that, and we'll be better prepared.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. Please like, follow, and share this podcast with your friends and family. Until next time, I'm Wendy McConnell.
Thank you for listening to the BamCam podcast with Jack Burnette and Alison Castellano from RFG Advisory. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at rfgadvisorywealth.com/Jack Burnette or give us a call at 205-510-9072. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available.
Content here is for illustrative purposes and general information only. It is not legal, tax, or individualized financial advice, nor is it a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any specific security or engage in any specific trading strategy. Information here may be provided in part by third-party sources. These sources are generally deemed to be reliable. However, neither our guest nor RFG Advisory guarantee the accuracy of third-party sources. The views expressed here are those of our guest. They do not necessarily represent those of RFG Advisory, its employees, or its clients. This commentary should not be regarded as a description of advisory services provided by RFG Advisory or performance returns of any client. The views reflected in the commentary are subject to change at any time without notice. Securities offered by registered representatives of Private Client Services member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered by investment advisory representatives of RFG Advisory LLC, RFG Advisory, or RFG, a registered investment advisor. Private Client Services and RFG Advisory are unaffiliated entities. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where RFG Advisory and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advisory services may be rendered by RFG Advisory unless a client agreement is in place. RFG Advisory is an SEC registered investment advisor. SEC registration does not constitute an endorsement of RFG by the Commission, nor does it indicate that RFG or any associated investment advisory representative has attained a particular level of skill or ability.